We are back with John Cariani. John, how are you?
Still good.
Still good. Yeah. It's been like 15 minutes. It's been really chill. We just finished our first part of the interview, and we had some people around the scene library that wanted to hop in. I'm here with producer Zach, KJ, and Leah, as well as friends of the scene, LK and Aaron. And just because I think all of us love your work so much, and we've been chatting for so long, we just thought we'd bring it to the mics and see what's going on. But I remembered at the end of the last episode, about 20 minutes ago, we were we thought we forgot a question, and there are two things that I wanted to bring up. One, if there were any writers that you've worked with that really inspire you, or any playwrights or plays that you're oh, this is something that I really, really have loved to see, or just plays that you love, because I'm a nerd about that. And also, I want to ask you about the Lovesick Spanish feature film, because I did not know that existed until recently. Yeah. Yeah. You could talk. You could say what?
There's a Lovesick Spanish feature film. That's crazy. Yeah. I had no idea.
There is.
What was... Wait, can you talk a little bit more about what that was, where that came from?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I feel really bad because I can't remember the name of the production company. Retro Films in Mexico City. I think Lovesick was done in Mexico City before the pandemic, their version of Off-Broadway.
Yeah, cool.
And it ran for a long time, and I guess it was really popular because it's, I guess there are elements of telenovela in my plays.
Yeah.
Which
I guess
is
I could see it.
Flights of Fancy Magic Realism.
Yeah.
It can be done larger than life. It doesn't have to be, but it can be. Does that make sense?
Yeah, you and I feel because you write these short plays, and you have a lot of different love stories throughout.
Opera. I write soaps, basically. Do you know what I mean? And I mean that in a good way. I think soaps are awesome when they're done well.
I think when you see also a short play, when you see a love story take place over the course of a shorter amount of time, you do pack a lot more in. Yeah. Which I think brings up the telenovela aspects.
Maybe,
of it.
right?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
I don't know. That's my theory. I have no idea if that's true, but they wanted to make it into a movie.
Yeah.
Retro Films was the production company. They were also, I think, the producers of the play. But yeah, they contacted me and said, we'd like to produce this in Mexico City, and it's in Spanish only.
Yeah.
It's on a network called VIX Plus, which is I believe, Latin American streaming service.
That's so cool.
And it starred all these really famous Mexican television stars.
I
got to go to the premiere, and I felt very nerdy. Because I didn't know what I was doing. You know what I mean? And they were also nice and very beautiful television star people. And I don't know, it was very fancy.
Yeah. No, that's so cool. It was one of those things that I came across when I was doing research for this. And
we got to go to Mexico City. My husband got to go to Mexico City for the premiere, and
I had no idea. That's so awesome.
Yeah. Have you ever been there?
No.
It's very high up and very cool. So it's very much like California climate.
Okay, cool.
It's beautiful.
And where you were, everyone was hot, which is also very like California, LA.
Yes, they were very.
Yeah, they were very hot. They're all the
that
beautiful TV stars. Yeah. Oh, I love it. That's so funny.
Yeah. So it was cool. I just never quite imagined that, but it was fun.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. I wanted to get into.
But my plays are really popular in Spanish speaking part of the world, which is we're trying to figure out why that is. I don't know.
Wait, really?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. That's so. Is it trans? Was the Lovesick that was off Broadway in Mexico City?
Yeah,
I guess?
Translated it. I didn't approve the translation because I can.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't not approve of it. I just trust those people to do their best to make it work.
Yeah. That's so cool. What's it like to kind of have because I guess we can talking about Almost Maine. It's produced so much. It must have been translated into how many languages? What,
I think a dozen.
That's crazy.
Right? Yeah.
What's the process of that? Have you been
it hasn't been a process because we just say go for it. Just
it just happens. It just goes.
Please, yeah. Go for it and translate it.
Has there been a request that you've gotten while someone was producing Almost Maine? That you're I cannot believe that my play has gone to this level. What
do you mean?
Either a certain country that it's been in, or
Dubai.
Oh, really? It's been in Dubai?
Yeah, that was the one. I was like, what?
That's so cool. Yeah.
I want to know how they translate Jeezum Crow into other languages.
I'm sure every language has its
every culture
euphemism,
has it. Yeah.
Right? Because those are powerful words. I remember when I was doing the band's visit, one of the actors I said to one of the actors, "Oh, my parents are coming," and I said to him, hey, can you not say Jesus Christ in front of my parents? Can you just not say that? Because they're like, do I say that? I'm like, yeah, you say it all the time. It's no big deal, but just, that's a powerful one. And he was like, seriously? I was like, yeah, that's a big one. Like, people don't love the taking the Lord's name in vain. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God, I had no idea. It's just something that we say. I was like, I know. Everybody says it here, but like, when I first came here, I was kind of like, oh my gosh, everybody says it all the time. And some people just, you have to be careful because it's powerful. Those words are powerful to some people, you know?
Yeah.
It was so funny. But like, yeah, so I think every country has euphemisms, and that's why Jism Crow exists, because that's what my mom said, Jism Crow.
Yeah. Oh, that's so cool. And I like that, like, people that are translating it, they are probably taking like Jism Crows and they kind of create their own.
Yeah. Didn't you ever say cheese is rice?
Cheese is rice?
Cheese is rice, yeah. Shut the front door. Yeah, they're good ones.
I've never heard
Say
of
that again. Shut the front door.
Yeah. I'm trying to think if we had any. I'm from Ohio. I feel like we all just cursed.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, yeah. My parent, yeah.
Jiminy Cricket.
I've never heard of Jiminy Cricket either.
Yeah.
Jiminy Cricket.
That's crazy. We just said like bad words. That's so wild. Maybe my parents were cool. Yeah, my parents were really cool.
Or they were heathens.
Or they were heathens, or they're really bad. Speaking of Almost Maine, I know that someone at this table has been, other than yourself, I guess. I guess all of us are pretty affiliated with Almost Maine, but someone has been very affiliated over the last couple of weeks. Zach, do you want to talk about your experience with Almost Maine?
Yeah. Of course. I mean, mostly what I'll say is it's just the best show. I mean, it's so sweet. It's so real. I think it's interesting. I thought it was interesting when you were talking about earlier about it really being for older, really for, people in the 30s and 40s, maybe. It's because it does feel like that, I think. But at the same time, I think for any actor, it's there's so much to dig into. I mean, it's like, and that's something I don't think we get to do all the time as actors anymore, especially students. You're doing a musical, it becomes about hitting your notes and getting your, everything down, and even just sometimes hitting the joke. But it's not about like, what's behind this or why are you saying this? And to me, with this show, it's like every scene, there's so much to unpack and there's so much you can bring to it. And I got to work on They Fell. Actually, it was one of the scenes I worked on.
Oh, really?
And yeah, just because I have a lot of physical comedy,
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah.
My wife was like, "Can you come help them do this?" And I was just doing it, and I was getting kind of emotional reading some of these things. And these guys, they were looking at me, and I said, "Did you realize what they're saying to each other here? This is, And then I would fill them up with everything, and then I finally said, "I think I've given you guys a lot. So listen, I want you to process this and come back tomorrow, and then just let it all go." And I felt like it kept getting better, and literally every night it was my favorite scene. It was so good, and and there wasn't a thing cut. We did everything. It was so brilliant, and so there was just so much about it that to me, I think for young actors was something I didn't always have, and I'm glad they got that opportunity. So,
and to preface all that, your wife directed it last week.
Oh yeah, I mean, I literally helped a little bit with that scene.
No, I wanted to make
Oh my God!
Everyone listening,
yeah, we're gonna be cutting this.
You like go into a high school and be like, guys,
no. Yeah, no. She did the whole thing, but to be fair, she knew of the play, of course, because I'm always talking about it. But like, she didn't pick it. It wasn't like So they just said, "Hey, do you want to direct this show? We think you'd be good for it," and she did. And of course, like we love it now. Like it got better every night.
Yeah.
The actors, I think, really connected to these roles. To me, it's actually. I was joking earlier, saying I really want a second chapter of it. But to be fair, I actually think sometimes stories are really good when they just give you 8 great episodes and then it ends. There was a Ricky Gervais show about death that he did that I thought.
I know what you're talking about.
I think and I thought the first season was brilliant.
Yeah.
I didn't need any more. They actually did a second season. I didn't watch it. I didn't want that. No, and it wasn't because I didn't think it would be good. It was because I thought the first season was perfect.
So good. Yeah. I haven't watched season 2 of Ted Lasso because I love that first season so much, and I know I should watch season 2 and season 3. I've heard it's great, but I just love that first season so much that I just want to stay there.
Yeah.
Maybe watch it again. Do you know what I mean?
Because they change and people get. It's like No, it was great. I'm fulfilled by it, and I feel the same way about Almost Maine. Like every night I left fulfilled. I'm getting emotional now, but I really do love it. It's really sweet.
I like cry theater. I think it's an admirable
Yeah.
to want to make people cry. I love to make people cry. My new play hopefully will make people really cry because it's really like cryy.
Yeah.
It's not sad. It's just cryy. I don't know what the word.
Yeah. I know you've been a part of a lot of the productions, or you've been a part of a couple of the productions of Almost Maine, like as a cast member, obviously as a writer too.
Oh yeah, just a couple times.
Yeah. Have you been able to see the the show at many high schools? Have you like
Gone to a few, yeah.
Yeah. What has that? Because I get like you brought it up, and I think we talked about it. It might have been off mic, but we talked about how like the characters are like 30s to 40s. Kind of what is it like to have written the play and now for it to have this long life in the non-pro market, especially within high schools, having seen like 14, 15, 16-year-olds like playing these roles? Is it something that is like kind of cathartic as someone who like grew up in Maine, or is it also like a little weird? I don't know.
I think kids do Act 1 a lot better than professionals do, adults do, because Act 1 is a little loopier and goofier.
Yeah.
More fantastical, I think.
Yeah.
And they are a little better at reckless abandon, I guess. And so that's been funny. I think kids are funnier in Act 1 than adults are in a way. And then obviously I think adults crush Act 2 in a way that kids just can't, because when you're, once you hit like, I think after high school, the losses start coming hard and fast.
Yeah.
But I'm always impressed with like how kids get. I don't understand why they do the scene about the couple who is about to break up, the ice skating scene where they're breaking up. They get, and like, I said to one kid, I was like, "How do you get this?" And he was like, "I have parents." That's just like, oh, like parents watch and learn from their parents. I mean, kids watch and learn from their parents, and so that's always been interesting.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Just with that. So when you did the show as an actor, you weren't in the original up in Portland, right?
I was only in the revival Transport Group's revival in 2014, I think. I can't remember, somewhere like that. But I did it at a little theater in Maine once to a fundraiser because they were trying to become an equity theater, if that makes sense. So
I guess
I've done it 2 times. Yeah.
The question then related to that is, so then coming into it as an actor, did you find stuff as an actor you didn't hear as a playwright?
Oh yeah, different, because you're using a different muscle. Yeah, like the joke was that I learned my lines last when we did it off Broadway, and like Donald Champlin was like, "Dude, you wrote it. Like, what's your problem?" And I was like, "Well, I have to learn it. Like, I don't know it."
Right.
Yeah, no, you do find things. Yeah, and you try things, and the director goes, "What are you doing?" I was like, "I don't know. I thought it was a good idea." "No, not a good idea. Don't do that." I'm like, "Okay," because you're just exploring it as an using different as an actor instead of.
Did you have a favorite scene every night?
When we did it, I have to say, when we did it in Transport Group, my favorite scene was the Jimmy and Sandrine scene. Yeah. And the reason is because Jack Cummings, the director, said to me in rehearsal one day, "John, this guy's sad. He's like sad. I mean, he is sad. He is sad." And I feel like you're coasting over that. And I want to see what happens if you actually are like. And the weird thing is that tears came. And he was like, "Let's do that."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I was like, "But that doesn't feel like my play." And he was like, "That's what we're going to do here because this guy is sad. And I just want to see what happens if he is really like, when she leaves, everything's over and he is just like, and then that waitress comes and he's just a mess." You know what I mean? It was pretty cool to like explore that because I just didn't see it that way. I just thought it was somebody who had his emotions under control or whatever. Dude from...
Yeah. Here, Leah has something.
No, what you're describing made me think of, there's this story about, I think it's Beckett, I'm not sure, where he had written a play and a theater wanted him to direct the play. And he's like, "Well, I need like 6 months or a year before I can do that." And they're like, "Well, what do you mean? You just wrote the play?" And he's like, "Well, I have to figure out what I've written." Do you relate to that at all?
Oh, yeah. Because other artists bring their life experience, their artistry. Yeah, it's a whole different kettle of fish, ball of wax, whatever you want to call it. No, I'm not a director.
No,
because I just would tell people to do it the way I would do it. That's not That's
Yeah.
not directing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, it totally makes sense. As an actor who's like performed, have you only performed in Almost Maine, or have you performed in any of your other titles at all?
I had to be in Lovesick when it was in New York because my friend Justin Hagen, who was supposed to be in it, his back went out.
Okay.
And I was in rehearsals for Something Rotten, and I had to do the performances.
Yeah.
At
That's
this little
crazy.
off-Broadway company. It was really fun, but I don't like being in my own plays. I don't know why.
Yeah.
I just don't. I also think when you're writing your own plays, if you're in them, it's not good for the life of the play.
100%.
Because then you write it onto your body.
Yeah.
I think it's one of the big traps actually living in New York is that people do readings with these fantastic people who make stuff work that shouldn't work.
Yeah.
And so I like to work on my plays with people who actually aren't actors to
Yeah.
hear if the stories come through.
Yeah. That makes
You
sense.
know?
As someone who.
And I'm about to do a reading of this play with young people, with middle-aged people.
Oh,
Just
really?
to hear what.
Oh, the new one that you're
this
doing.
new play, because
Yeah.
middle-aged people, my friends, will attack the play in a way that younger people won't because they're a little intimidated by me. Right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's so hard to get people to. I don't care that I'm here. Tell me it's bad. Like, tell me. And
Yeah.
they're gonna come at me pretty hard
Yeah.
about.
I mean, that's awesome, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's. I feel like it's a good way to like test your writing, kind of, to like,
Yeah.
to keep it on the brink. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, you got one? Here. This is KJ.
Hi.
Wait, KG, what do you do again?
Like in general life or
here.
in here, I'm a play licensing associate. So
Okay.
predominantly with DPS, do a little bit with musicals, but I fell in love with the DPS catalog because the majority of my theater experience is in
really?
that catalog.
Where are you
so.
from?
Michigan.
Really?
Yeah.
Where?
Sterling Heights, just about 30 minutes from Detroit.
So is that
Hey, there we go. Yeah. He's
Where is
pulling out the hand.
the Mint?
It's like right.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
like right there.
Okay.
Yeah, one of the things I heard you talk about was the way that you are inspired by people in your life, and create characters around them. And I was curious if there were people that you are inspired by, whether you knew them well or not, maybe just saw them in passing, people that you would want to write characters for or tackle in a way you haven't.
Yeah, and I think the big answer to that is I'm starting to realize that all people think in a pretty, what's the word, like sophisticated way. Like if the longer you've lived, the more sophisticated your thinking and understanding the world gets.
Sure.
But not everybody has words to attach to it. And I think we're living in a moment where writers are tyrants because they're the ones who write the grants. They write laws. And I feel like there's something this is a new idea, but just like, I don't think we realize that writers run everything. The people who use language the way, because content on social media is a form of writing, I think. I'm trying to figure this out. I don't know. There's not a, like one of the things I have to do is like, if I'm writing someone who is like, one of my characters in my new play runs a carpet cleaning business. And like, what does that guy use for language when he's talking about big ideas? He doesn't use the language that his buddy who went to Harvard uses. He doesn't use the language I use. And I feel like I hate it when I hear voice betray itself in a play, like someone's talking and then all of a sudden they start talking like someone different and then and you lose track of their characteristics. I don't know if this is answering your question, but like, how do you write people who are really smart but don't have good language skills? I'm really interested in that because I know that theater is a language art form, but like, I just love it when I hear someone trying to figure out, like I just figured out that in my new play, one of the young woman just says, she confesses that she was going to like jump in a lake and she can't swim. That's why she's standing on a dock and this kid who works at the state park says, "You can't be here after dark. What are you doing?" And she lies and says she's wishing on a star, but eventually she reveals that I was going to jump in the lake and I can't swim. And he's like, "What do you mean?" She's like, "I just wanted to not be here, but I don't want to not be here, but I don't want to be here." And figure out how to use the language of talking about suicide in a way that is like uncommitted. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That a lot of people have been through. Like most people don't get to suicidal thoughts. Most people get to pre-suicidal. And I was just interested in how do you use language to like express that. It took me so long to get the right words. Finally found it.
When did you start navigating those sorts of themes? Like when did you realize trying to put those thoughts of uncommittedness, I guess, as you put it and everything like that? When did you
That's how
start
I've
sort of
lived my
navigating
life, having all those thoughts. I think a lot of people do, and I have the tools to navigate them, and I don't know. I mean, but I'm interested in like it's no mystery when, like, when you in the news somebody does something really bad and people's like, he seemed like such a nice person. Yeah, and he did that. Like, what's the surprise? Like we're learning now that you can be a really nice person and be racist. You know what I mean? Like both of those things can exist in the same body and mind. You know what I mean? Like that doesn't mean you're bad. It just means you have to keep working on it. You know, I just think that's very interesting. And like, I'm just really fascinated by people who can't just trot out big words. I love the big words plays. Don't get me wrong. Like, I love them more than anything. And I love being in the big words plays. But I'm really interested in like, how do you get people who don't have words to talk in a play?
Yeah.
You know, I don't know if you can. Maybe it's a failure. Maybe they'll totally fail.
I don't think it is. I worked for a while with kids with learning disabilities, and one of the things that one of the things I found so fascinating was that these kids were incredibly bright. Yeah. I mean, some were brilliant. In fact, especially in some very specific areas, and yet if you ask them to write or to type something, it would come out like a first grader. And if you just read that, you would think this is not a very intelligent person. And yet sometimes you'd sit down and have a conversation with them and you'd go, oh my God, you just explained the concept to me I never even understood. And the disconnect there, and how easily people can dismiss them. And, you know, and I think unfortunately, there's a lot of people who maybe don't have a diagnosed learning disability or whatever, but live their life that way. And we don't always recognize that, you know, the way that they're trying to communicate or the way they communicate best isn't necessarily the way we feel makes somebody smart.
Yeah, we're living in the moment of writers or tyrants and we don't even realize it.
Yeah. You brought up something.
I think we're very evil people right now, honestly. Writers. Yeah.
Writers?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I do. I think we're a problem.
Yeah. Do you think there's a solution?
Yeah, don't lie anymore.
Yeah.
I don't know how we do that. Everybody's got to stop lying.
Yeah.
Everybody's lying.
That's so
It
interesting.
must stop.
The idea of like writers kind of, because I feel like there is a time when, because I come from like the comedy writing scene in Chicago, and like there's been so many of my jobs in the last couple of years that I've been like on the verge of losing to like AI. And like the idea that like I as a writer have felt so disposable at times when there have been moments. So it's so funny that like you're looking at writers in this way, like they are tyrants, have the power, and then there are also writers that are like, oh, I feel like
Powerless.
I have the least amount of power in this room.
Wow, yeah.
Yeah. It's really, really interesting. Yeah. They I can say I don't care. I don't work there anymore. I worked for Cards Against Humanity. I love them. All my friends over there at Cards Against
Oh my
Humanity.
gosh, that game is so fun.
It's so fun. Yeah. Yeah.
It makes me turn red so fast.
Yeah.
It's just, it makes me sweat too. You know?
Really?
Like,
Yeah. I love it. I love all my people there, but there's a day I went into the office and a bunch of people were coming into the writers meeting late, and my boss was like, oh, let's try something. And we put something into AI and fully like AI spit out card names that were like, oh, these would be really good cards. Oh no. So we immediately, it was the scariest moment of my life. I watched like a computer generate my work better than I could in a split second. So yeah, that is funny that like,
But aren't writers feeding that AI?
maybe, I don't,
Human writers are feeding that AI. So
Underpaid people in other countries that are like being abused and exploited is what's like feeding the AI.
yeah.
It's one of a myriad of reasons why we should not touch that.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a lot. Yeah. Oh, man.
thanks, Aaron.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Aaron.
We can cut that.
No. We're keeping it in.
I'm going to transition.
Yeah, go on. Give us a segue, Zach.
So John, I saw.
Was that bad that we were talking about the tyranny of writers? That's just a new thought. That's a new idea. Because like grant writers control who gets grants in the theater.
Yeah.
Like grant writers control all that stuff. Law writers, news writers.
Yeah.
You know, and like you just said, if you can't write a good email, people don't take you seriously.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like I'm so careful with my email so I don't sound dumb.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry, I just
No.
think
I don't think you're wrong.
But like people who do things don't matter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. You said you wanted the segue?
I do have a
Sorry.
segue for us. So in 2004, so we're going back a little bit. I saw John in Fiddler on the Roof.
You did?
I did.
That was a long time ago.
It was. I'm older than most everybody else here. But it was It was fabulous.
Well,
you were fabulous.
I didn't know you were that old. I tried to figure that out just then. So you must be old. You're a little old, Zach.
I was already graduated from college then, John.
Oh my gosh,
so
you look so young.
Thank you.
When you said that, I was like, that's not possible. Congratulations, you look good.
And it was great. I mean, it's just a fantastic production. And actually, one of my favorite, honestly, I mean,
we were talking about it. Yeah.
One of my very favorite moments, actually, ever on stage, is the very opening when he would stomp. You know, he would come out and do the beginning of the monologue, and then he would do the 4 stomps.
Yeah.
And I felt like in that moment, I'd never seen somebody take a room and just go, you know who's going to run, who's in charge tonight?
Alfred Molina.
It's Alfred Molina.
Alfred Molina is
and
gonna
those
run.
4 stomps, I mean, it was like...
Well, he's also like 6'4".
Oh, yeah. He's a big guy, but there's still something about that moment that, like, I just remember, going... Oh.
You're not.
It was no, and it's a fabulous production.
Justin's trying to say he's 6'4". He's not.
6'5".
No, he's
Well,
not.
I'm wondering if
He's
I'm 6'5"
6'2".
or 6'4".
No, we're saying 6'2".
There's a very easy way to figure this out.
She thought I looked taller than her dad.
No.
Hey, don't bring my dad.
I'm just saying, I could be 6'5". We don't know.
He was trying to say that he was 6'4" when I said that Alfred Molina was 6'4". I saw it. And
You
I
said,
just
we had eye contact, and I was
was like, no.
I don't know.
You're 6'2".
So my question though for you
Sorry.
is simply, that was your Broadway debut?
It
right?
was.
Can you talk about that experience? I know you were nominated for a Tony too in your Broadway debut, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
But talk about that. What was it like?
Again, there are more things in heaven and earth that can be dreamt of in your philosophy. All I remember is being happy all the time. Because I was getting a regular paycheck. I was also 34 when I did that. I made my Broadway debut at 34. To most people who want to be on Broadway, that's a loser. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
Guys like us, that's young.
I'm older than you. No, I don't. No, we called him Fred. He was just so nice, and I don't know. I mean, Sally Murphy was my title, and she's a legend to me. And my friend Trisha Paluccio was in it. We had come up together, and she was in it. And we're all in touch. Like, I'm seeing some of them in the new year, and I don't know. Randy Graff was incredible. I don't know. I just felt like it was a good lesson on how to behave. How to be a part of a company. I don't know. It was everything new. So it's like a glowing moment of my life. Do you know what I mean? Like, all I remember is all the happiness and the goodness, and
It was a fabulous production.
it was incredible.
Seriously, one of my very favorites of a lot of stuff.
Well, it's also a great play. Like, it's a great play. It's one of the greatest plays.
All the writers were still alive too.
They were all there. Yep. And it was so cool to hang out with them.
Oh, sorry. This is apropos of nothing, but I just want to talk about like Lovesick and Almost Maine again, if that's cool. I was fortunate enough to like be able to work on both of those shows. I did Almost Maine in high school, and that I was in the They Fell scene, and that was like the very first time I'd ever played someone who wasn't like a straight dude. And that was very eye-opening for me growing up in Central Virginia, where those ideas are not super liked, to put it lightly. And then I did Lovesick with all the, but
Here in New York, right?
no,
Virginia.
still in
Sorry,
Virginia.
sorry, yeah.
But this
You
was
had a
like
little
after
theater company?
Yeah, I ran a theater company. This was after college, and like 3 of the 4 of us were in that high school production of Almost
cool.
Maine. So all that to say, I really love how versatile both of those plays are, and how accessible you've made them in terms of giving people options. Like, there's so many different versions of the They Fell scene to fit different like parts of the country, different sensibilities, I guess. But then there's also like all of these bonus scenes that you've made available for people to kind of pick and choose which like aspects of the show they want to do.
Yeah.
Can you walk through what the process was like, basically just opening these shows up a bit more and providing more options for people, and your rationale into deciding what should be made available versus what's just the very base script?
Yeah, poor Lauren has been through it with me on this. I mean, it's just, I mean, I guess people just started making requests, right? Didn't they ask you, like, we know about this scene that was in Lovesick, it's not in the script. And you would be like, John, what is this? There's a scene in Lovesick that's not in the script. And I was like, oh yeah, I didn't make it in. And then I realized that some high schools want to do Lovesick with as big a cast as possible. And then they just, it's usually a 90-minute play. They can turn it into an hour and 40-minute play and take a little intermission, you know? Just making it available for young people so that there were more parts. And I don't know. I mean, that's what it came from. It came from requests from people, right?
Yeah, and I think they've resonated with different versions of each of the plays that I think they've wanted to kind of make part of this final version. I think you're like we were talking about earlier, words and, you know, kind of finagling the words for the impact. And I think every version that you've created has resonated differently with each group. And I think that's where these requests come from. It's from your words impacting how they're viewing this piece. And I think you have made it so accessible. And I think especially for the educational market, and that's kind of what I want to touch on because that's what I do most of my day is facilitate these requests. What is the most rewarding thing specifically about seeing your work being done in the educational and community theater world? Like what is, and going back to these bonus scenes, you have made it so accessible for them. So you very clearly care so deeply about this. So what's the most rewarding part of that?
Learning I was a snob. Honestly, like I thought that the only good theater was professional theater and Broadway and off-Broadway. That's what I thought. That was my goal as a writer. And then when I found out that high school kids wanted to do Almost Maine, I was like, oh, come on, they can't do this. It's too hard. They're not going to get it. And then I found out I was wrong because there are a lot of great theater artists out there who are directors. First of all, teachers who are great theater artists. And then there are just great actors out there who aren't 30 or 40. Do you know what I mean? They're 15, you know, and I guess just learning that they're, you know, I always say this, there's good, like I try to say in Portland, Maine, whenever I go to Portland to work on a new play, go see the other plays here because there are really good theater artists right here in Portland, Maine. And yeah, the actors might come from New York, but the other artists live here. You know, most of them live here and make theater here. You know, they're good artists everywhere, not just in New York, you know, and I think that's the big thing I learned is not to be a snob. And also, I have to say, with high school plays, it is so amazing to see the effort. To watch someone improve is kind of incredible because the improvement is vast. Like, you know, like when I'm bad in something, like as a professional, no one's going to know how bad it is if they're not, unless they're in it. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? When I'm bad in it, I'm bad to the people around me and like I'm not getting it. But it doesn't look like that to my parents. And then when I get it, I travel like it's like a little, it's like not a big distance between kind of getting it and not getting it. Whereas kids go from not being able to do it to totally being able to do it, and like not even being able to be heard or seen to being heard and seen. Like that's a huge step.
Well, I want to highlight talking about Zach's wife's show. She had a bunch of people actually who were on the tech. Yeah, I got to see it. So people who were on the tech team actually were auditioned for the show this time. So they were actually in the show. And
the cast there was 10 and half the cast was brand new. They had never been on stage before. So it was, you know, so for them it was, I mean, it was, she literally had to, the first day was, this is upstage, this is downstage, this is stage left, stage right. And, you know, some didn't know how to project or, you know, they didn't, and it's funny because there's watching them, even they would do the thing where they would learn to cheat out, and then the person behind you just stays there. So they like start backing up, and then that person backs up, and it's like they're backing each other up to cheat. And it's like I was like, oh my god, I remember that, but it's been such a long time. And you know, and then you slowly move them forward, and yet by the end they're having emotional moments, and you know, and they go, I knew that I kind of messed up on that line. And we said, no, because we saw you feeling something for the first time. Or they come off and they go, it was really hard today. And I go, yeah, it kind of probably should be. That's a good thing. Like, I'm glad that you actually connected to it. But you're so right. It's so fun. And I wasn't even there even as much. I mean, my wife was there every day, but she could watch them get better day after day after day. And it's so rewarding. I mean, there's nothing, I think, maybe more rewarding than that, you know.
when you're learning to play an instrument or learning an art form, you improve massively early on, and then it's incrementally from then on. Do you know what I mean? You don't get massively better at my age. You get a tiny bit better. Do you know what I mean?
I feel like part of the reason why, like maybe just one of the many reasons why Almost Maine has done so well in the high school market is because like the show itself is deeply educational from a performance standpoint. Like you learn so much as a young high schooler jumping into this show.
Objective. What do you want?
Yes. Yeah. And
how
all
are you
of,
different?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And different like plays within the show have like different opportunities for learning different things. Like I learned how to pratfall without breaking my tailbone.
Oh yeah.
And
That's
like
good.
that made me develop a really deep love for physical comedy.
Yeah.
And like so I think that's just a really, really cool aspect of the show that people maybe don't think about when going into it, is just the deep opportunity for growth for those performers.
I'll also say that one of the things, John, I think you've done that really is such an amazing thing with the script was, I mean, you have, besides like list of props, and you have, I mean, you list everything. You talk about where this is in the state, and you describe the people, and that's something that to me, I think I've been surprised that even professional productions we didn't do that. And I was like, okay, well, I mean, obviously I do my own work as an actor. I would do that myself. And maybe that was what they were expecting. But I sort of thought, well, it's kind of nice to have a collective idea of where we're living and what the world is. And you do that in the script. And I think that's one of the things I don't think people really recognize how special and rare that is, because we're surrounded by scripts here. And say 99% of them do not give you any of that. They tell you it's, we open in Texas in a small town, and that's it. And that's fine. But I love that you get specific about it, and you really give you give the audience something to really, or the director, at least, and the actor, something to work with.
I had to, because when this play came out, the divide between rural and urban was starting to get really pronounced. And I realized that urban people don't know much about rural people. And I learned very quickly that they don't care much about rural people.
Yeah.
And rural people feel it. As
Yeah.
someone who is a rural person, we felt it.
Yeah.
And I think that is why we are where we are now, right now,
It made so much sense when I was reading and I found out that you wrote that novelization of Almost Maine, because I'm like, it really is one of the most, like, I don't want to say like imagery centric, but it's one of the best plays at putting you in a place. Like it's, and it feels like, because there's so many characters and there's so many of these like scenes that you're learning about all these, and you're moving from one to the other and you're doing all this, it almost feels like that could have been an afterthought, but you like built this town to really feel like something that the audience is sitting in and watching, like, as throughout this play. I don't know, it's really interesting. Was there any like part of creating the world of Almost Maine that like represented like anything from where you're from? I mean, obviously you are from Maine, but like,
That's it.
yeah, was it like creating the town at all?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's so dark up there.
Yeah.
Like, did you know, like, this isn't my new play, 90% of Americans can't see the Milky Way. And where I grew up, you can.
Really?
But 90% can't. And just trying to tell kids up there, you can see the stars.
Yeah.
Most people can't,
Yeah. Yeah. That's so interesting. That's really, I know Leah has something. Yeah.
And just realizing that nobody knows about northern Maine. Yeah. Just nobody knows. Yeah. Why would they? Nobody lives there, and it doesn't have anything that anybody wants except potatoes, I mean, I think it does, but people don't. It does.
I was thinking about in your notes for Almost Maine, there's a part where you specifically say, like, everyone does not need to be wearing flannel. Like, you like had to spell it out that much because of these ideas that urban people have. So I want to ask you, we were talking a little bit today, both on and off mic, about how you feel like your creative successes, your biggest ones, came later in life. So what would your advice be, either to young people who are just starting out, who might have their creative roads in front of them, or to people who maybe don't feel so young anymore and aren't where they want to be yet?
I think show up, do the work, and let it do what it does. If you don't do the work, nothing's going to happen. Mm-hmm. I wrote Almost Maine when I was young. I was in my 20s, and it's got popular in my 40s. Mm-hmm. And I didn't make it to Broadway till I was 34 years old. Mm-hmm. And to young actors, that's If you're 17 or 18 or 19 or 20, that's a long time away. And if I had quit, the world wouldn't have gotten John Cariani and Fiddler on the Roof. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
You know,
yeah.
like, I don't know. I just expect obstacles, expect things to not go your way, and figure out how to not be mad about it so you're not irritating to be around, you know? And yeah, do your work.
Right, because it was those years of work that was laying the tracks for those final.
Yeah, and
successes.
I worked really hard, you know? And even, Lovesick was all plays that just didn't make it into Almost Maine, honestly.
Oh, wow.
And then one day, someone from Portland Stage said, hey, remember those plays that you had that we looked at? And I was like, oh, yeah, they're awful. And he's like, yeah, well, let's make them not awful. Let's see if we can make them not awful. And I was like, well, I just don't think there's anything there. And, and then I talked to Kent Nicholson. Yeah, Kent Nicholson here about, I have all these plays, like these plays that I wrote at the same time I was kind of writing Almost Maine, and they were written at the same time that some of those scenes that became Almost Maine. He said, well, let's see what happens if you spruce them up, and we got this production, but like he said, worst thing that can happen is just a collection of plays that you want to publish that are just good short plays for people to do, and maybe you'll have a collection of plays that feels like an evening of theater. If I hadn't tried, I wouldn't have found my way to an evening of theater. And I started out saying, oh, there's no way this is ever going to work. This is nothing. You really can't decide until you do it.
Right.
I guess, just do the work and consider it work. Like artists, I think I'm not an artist. I think I'm a worker. And I think most artists are actually workers. And I'm happier being a worker than an artist.
How do you describe the difference between the two?
Workers don't have an opinion about having to work, and artists seem to have a lot of opinions about having to work. That's what I think it is. I think artist is the equivalent of aristocracy currently, too.
Oh,
like
that's
that at all.
interesting.
Yep, I hate it.
Because you feel like...
people become artists to become part of the cultural elite.
Exactly, yeah, that there's something about
me.
a way they're positioning themselves in society, or kind of the feedback that they want, or it's more, do you think it's also more just about them as a personality versus the actual work?
A lot of ego, I don't like it. It's infested. It's infested the theater, I think. Give me more workers. Is that awful to say?
No, I don't think
No, I think that's a great thing. Honestly, I think it's like I feel like the first part of the episode, or the first episode, was such a nice, like, let's talk about Almost Maine and have a John Cariani interview. And then we have a table full of people and we got really deep, and I'm really happy about it. But yeah, John, thank you so much for sticking around and talking for a while. Yeah, and thank you to everyone around this table for joining us for a little bit. Yeah, that was so nice of you. Yeah, I'm going to end the episode. Well, actually, we all can end the episode.
How?
I end every episode by kind of doing a really good impression of a like nervous acting student at the end of a scene, and I go, and scene. So we can all do it together. Okay, ready? We're gonna end this episode the way we end every episode, which is we just finished a really good scene in class, but our faculty's being really, really quiet, and we all look at each other and we don't know what to say, and then we say at the end, and scene. Goodbye, everybody. Sweet. Perfect.